So here I am, I'm at Thompson Lake. It's a little after 5 and I've got a big fish. A big fish. And I've been fighting him for a good 5 minutes. He looks like he's, I don't know, 16 inches long or so, maybe 18. Got a reel here. There he is. All right, here he is again. Bring him up here. Nice fish, very nice fish. On a chironomid. This is Thompson Lake. Thompson Lake in Minnesota. I'm just north of Grand Marais. It is mid-September. It's a little after 7 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday. We had a storm system in here the last couple of days that's kind of trying to move out. This lake is a special regulation lake, catch and release. It has rainbows and brown trout in it. What I'm seeing here isn't a good sign. Normally you see rises out in the lake along the shoreline every time I've been here. I'm not seeing that this morning, so not a good sign. That kind of suggests that it hasn't been long enough after this storm system's passed through here, and so they're the fish are probably still lying along the bottom. I'm going to fish for a few hours and see how it is. It may need another day or two. The other thing going on is there's been a full moon, and generally during a full moon phase the fish don't feed very well in the daytime. So I don't know, I'm going to give it a go, but as of right now it doesn't look promising, not a good sign. So I'll probably fish some chironomids or something over here and maybe fish the flats, but I don't know. I saw a couple of rises here a minute ago when I first got here out in the lake, but really nothing since. Okay, so I'm still here at Thompson Lake. It is mid-September. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been fishing for about an hour and a half. So we had a storm that moved through here the past couple of days. And the system's moving out now. Not a lot of surface activity, occasional rise, and we also had a full moon the past couple of nights. So honestly, I really didn't think this lake would fish very well. However, I have actually caught 3 fish in an hour and a half on a leech of all things, a balanced leech. I'm using a maroon balanced leech under a strike indicator with a chironomid above it, and I've caught 3, all about 11 inches, which is kind of, you catch a lot of fish here in the 11 to 13 inch range with occasionally one bigger. So I'm kind of surprised it is fishing as well as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and keep fishing. A couple of them have come, two of the 3 fish have come just after I put the fly out like it is now. as it sits, a lot of times they'll come over and investigate it. So pretty surprised. It's been pretty fair today. The lake I was at yesterday over near Finland, Scarp, another one of my favorites, also rainbows, was just terrible, just terrible. So I'm kind of doing two things. I'm kind of doing a little bit of experimenting. The standard retrieve I use with when I'm fishing like this, I'm fishing in about probably 9 feet of water. I've got the strike indicator set so it's keeping it 1 or 2 feet off the bottom. So the standard retrieves, you cast, you let it set, and then you give a very, very, very slow hand twist retrieve. And the rule is, if you can see a wake, you're going too fast. And a lot of times they'll hit it right as it's settling, or in the first few feet of the retrieve. That said, the first one I caught hit it at the end of the retrieve when I was just about ready to pick up. It's kind of a pretty day. Probably needs another day or two before the fish kind of return to their normal feeding patterns. The other retrieve I'm using that I'm just kind of experimenting with is a short pull every few seconds, and I'm trying to see if I can jig these fish. It's kind of a mimic of a jigging action. Just kind of seeing what they prefer. I'll recheck here, make sure that we don't have any weed. The leech is kind of weighted, and so it tends to pick up some of the weeds, so and the fish don't like that, and sure enough there's one there, so that's why you check. I've done well in this part of the lake before fishing chironomids, just like I'm doing here. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of flat here that runs about 8 to 9 feet, and like I say, in the past year, in 3 trips, I've done fairly well right in this area here. So let it sit, and now it's a matter of, I'm going to jig it a little bit. So you pull, you let it sit for a few seconds, pull, let it sit, and what you're trying to do is mimic kind of how a jig, if you were using conventional tackle in a jig. Supposed to be pretty effective technique, but this is kind of an experimental variation that I'm doing, since I'm not using spinning tackle here. The other thing you can do that I probably need to try is do this same thing that I'm doing, but let it sit for about 20 seconds. Again, you can vary the speed of the pauses and kind of, if you can find and see what they like. And there's a fish right there that just rose right there. It's kind of weird. What you see here a lot of times in this lake, and I don't know why it is these fish, there's a lot of head and tail rises in here, and I don't know that I've ever understood why that is. But you know what we'll do here? We'll take a chance and we'll see if I can catch this fish, if I can attract his attention. And he's kind of fishing up off the he's on the surface there, so I don't know if he's looking, looking down, but you never know. We'll see. Boy, I tell you, this flat water's the first time I've been in this situation up here. Usually there's a little bit of a breeze. Not today, so got to be careful with all right, so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to let it sit. I pull. I'm going to let it sit for about 20 seconds. Again, you're trying to figure out what kind of presentation the fish like. It's interesting. I see a lot of snails float. Oh, there's one. There was one right here. So this actually is the most surface activity I've seen this morning. Normally this lake is bustling with cruising. There's another fish out there, so things are starting to pick up, it looks like. I've got another rod here rigged with a olive peacock calabatus nymph on a intermediate line. There's another rise. So these fish, they're starting to feed for some reason. So interesting. I wondered if this might happen, but interesting. So I've seen 3 or 4 rises here just in the past minute or two. Interesting. So these fish are coming shallow, which opens up some possibilities for me. So I was moving and just kind of trolling the fly while I was moving. I really didn't expect to catch anything, and well, here we have our 4th fish, huh? So this is a lot of these 11 inchers in this lake. There are bigger fish. And sure enough, this one, they're liking the leech today. This is really the first time I've ever, well, it's not the first time I've ever used it, but so here we go. Need to release him. So now we've got a little bit of a breeze coming up. Putting a little bit of a ripple on the lake, which is good for the fish. The other thing it'll do is it'll cause that that'll cause my flies to kind of jiggle up and down, which can be good. I have a barrel swivel on there to kind of dampen that, but so this is a fifth fish. I just put a cast out there, and I was fixing to start a retrieve, and the strike indicator dipped under, and well, this is will be my fifth fish. Except he doesn't really want to come in. Trying to locate my net. And another happy customer. This guy's quite chunky. I guess I didn't need the net. He got off.